So next is rental. How many of you guys know somebody who owns a rental property that accidentally ended up in the rental business? They had a house. They found another house that they loved. And they were like, well, we could try to sell our house and buy this, or I could qualify to buy this and not sell this. Or maybe they even couldn't sell it because the market wasn't great at that time, because there was a period of time from 2009 to about 2013 where people were still upside down, right? Or even Steven on their, and it didn't make sense to sell. So they kept their rental property. They put a tenant in there, and the tenant stayed for a period of time, but they don't love being a landlord, right? Like I used to teach real estate investment classes. I should do that again. That would be smart. I had one of my closest friends. He's a sheriff. He was a Jeffco sheriff, and I sold him 3 rentals. He hated it. Hated every single moment of it. He hated the responsibility. He hated the calls from the tenants. He hated the extra mortgage payment that he's paying for every month. I'm like, literally, dude, your payment's $800 and you're getting $1,400 a month. You're making money. And he's like, I don't care. I hate it. Okay. So when his house came up for sale, came up for rent every single time, he's like, sell. And I'd have to convince him to stay in. There are landlords that have properties that they don't want. They're outside of their area. They're driving to them, right? Like I had one in Murphy Creek in Aurora, and I live right off of Highway 93 in Arvada. Right? That's a freaking long drive, right? If somebody called me and said, hey, I see your house in Murphy Creek, you have it up for rent. Are you interested in selling it? I might have a buyer that would buy it as is, no questions asked. Would you be interested in an offer? I would say yes, because I would sell that, 1031 the money, and move it closer. Or even right now, if I believe as an investor that the sky is falling in real estate, which some investors believe this, because I have lots of friends that are investors, they're very successful. If the values are going to drop, let's just say 20%. They've already dropped 7%. Okay. If I believe that they're going to drop 20%, what's the difference if I just pay 22% capital gains and I put that money in the bank or I pay off my house, right? What if I just got laid off and I have 2 rental properties in my house and I don't have a job? Well, access to that cash might be good right now. So I might pay capital gains. Capital gains, everybody says capital gains is a bad thing. No, it's not. You know what capital gains means? You made money. Like, I don't know about you guys, but my neighbor paid more in taxes than I made last year.
Jesus.
Do you think he's complaining about it?
Probably not.
He has 2 Porsches and a Rivian. No, he's not complaining about it. Okay? Don't care. Taxes are a symbol of you are making bank, right? So here's the thing. Capital gains is not a bad thing. Yes, we want to avoid it. Yes, in a perfect world, we're savvy financial investors and we're all Warren Buffett. People don't make decisions that way. People make decisions based on emotions. People say, hey, I'm going to sell this property and I'm going to go buy a Rivian.
Yeah.
They do that crap all the time.
Yeah, that'll be my kid.
Yeah. So go with it. If they want to sell it, right? Consult them. Give them their options. Tell them what you would do, whatever. But if they say, no, I want to buy a Rivian, sell or rent it, right? Buy a Rivian. I actually have a friend, he's got 13 houses. He sold one and bought, what the hell did he buy? He bought a giant Dodge 3500. He's got 13 rentals. He's worth like $5 million. Like, he don't care. Whatever. Okay? All right. So for sell by owners, accidental landlords, those are people that didn't want to be landlords. They ended up being landlords. And when you talk about big multiple property owners, so this was me in the last recession, guys. I had 117 doors. I had 2 apartment buildings, 27 houses when the recession hit. Okay. Trust me, if I had people calling me, even as a real estate agent, if I had people calling me saying, I have a buyer or I could sell your house and get you top dollar, I would have listened to that. Guess how many people called me? Actually, one did. Chris Sanders, who, if you know Sanders, he's a wholesale guy. And he was just starting his wholesale business back then. And he's like, why the hell are you foreclosing on this house? And I was like, because if I keep it, I got to share it with my ex-wife, and I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to let him take it back. I foreclosed on a house in Aurora that I owed $75,000 on because I was bitter.
Oh, you learned, didn't you?
What I needed was a good agent to say, let me take this over for you and I will make your good financial decisions for you. That's what I needed. But let me tell you, there's a way to do this. So you can pull county records. You can do this yourself if you want to. Go into PDC, do a county record search, start with a county, pick a county, export non-owner occupied. So that's where the mailing address does not match the current mailing address. You can get this from your title company too. Get it in a CSV file, and you're going to sort it by the property address. Why do we sort it by the property address and not the owner name?
Because you want to be close to home.
No. What do we know?
Oh, wait, if they're out of state, are we searching, which address are we searching by or sorting by?
You're sorting by the mailing address, the owner's mailing address.
So if they're out of state, then they may be more willing to part with their property here.
So investors that own multiple properties will typically put them in an LLC.
Okay.
And my LLC is where the address of the property,
Yeah.
right? So 1211 South Sheridan, LLC. That's
Oh,
the address of the property.
that makes sense. Okay,
Okay.
see, I'm learning.
My
here.
investor that's doing a 1031, she titles it in the address of the property. Okay. So the LLC is the address of the property. So if you search it by owner name, it's not going to match up. It's going to look like they own one property. If you search it by the mailing address, because all the mailing is going to the same location, you can see that they own. Yeah. Oh, I see you own 12 properties in Jefferson County. Are you interested in selling any of them? Okay. This is the scripting. Are you interested in selling any of them? If I brought a property or a price that's acceptable to you, would you consider selling it? They say yes, no, whatever. Now these aren't listed. They're not for rent. We're just literally just calling non-owner occupied investors. Okay. They say no. They might be right. You know, in the stock market, you have bear and you have bullish, right? Bear is like somebody who's like, whoa, the market's falling. Bullish is like, oh, the market's raging. We're going to get in. Well, if they're bullish, they're buying. If they're bearish, they're getting away, right? So you're going to say, hey, if I brought you an offer acceptable to you on any of your properties, would you consider selling them? They say yes, no, whatever. They say no. You say, are you interested in buying? I'm always, just like you, I'm always prospecting other investors, other homeowners, some that are in financial distress, some that are for sale by owners. A lot of these properties are discounted or greatly discounted. If I come across a great property, are you interested in buying? Guess what they say?
Sure.
Yep. Yep. And this is also, by the way, are any of you guys investors, real estate investors? Yourself? Did any of you want to make a lot of money in this downturn? Raise your hand.
I do.
Okay.
Yes, please.
The key to a recessionary market is in the bottom of the recession, as the market's falling. Why is the market falling? What's the number one reason that real estate markets fall? Number one reason. What?
People panic. No.
No. What happened? Why is our market falling right now? Why is our market shifting? What happened?
There's no.
She got it. You lost.
Oh.
You just lost your book. She gets your book.
Okay here. It's a very small book. So
It's a small book. It's an invisible book. It's liquidity. Access to liquidity goes away. So there's two ways a bank can limit liquidity. They can either raise the qualifications. You need more money down. You need a better job. You need a higher DTI, or they can raise the interest rates. So what they did to this go around is the feds raised the interest rates, but didn't change the qualifications. Last time, you go back to 2011, they dropped the interest rates. Interest rates plummeted like 4 points down, but they raised the qualifications. So even if, right, like for me, right, even if you were coming across amazing deals in 2011, they limited you to 5 properties, 5 mortgages. I couldn't buy it, right? So those of us that are like, in the business of buying investment properties were locked out. So you have to have access to private money. Okay, in a recessionary market, you have to have access to private money. Guess how you find them? By doing this. You're calling big investors that invest in multiple properties. Some of these people have, hundreds of properties. I had hundreds of properties, right? They have access to capital. They are the capital a lot of times. Like one of my guys was, I don't know what his family did, but he was a multi-millionaire. And he would lend money at 10%, right? Well, if the house is $113,000 and I can rent it at $1,400 a month, and I can put 5 to 10% down at a 10% interest rate, the math works. Okay? So the market falls, you have access to capital you can buy. Okay? That was a bonus class right there for those of you that want to make money